So today we're talking about photography. I think we chose this topic to be the very first one because we have with us two amazing photographers that one I've worked with, and I just met Peter I think 2 days ago through a friend, and I like his work because uh, there's so many things that I like about his work. And then I've worked with Joe Marshall in the past, so I also know how he projects some of these things. So I brought these two people on board to discuss what we've seen so far, what they've seen, and how they think some of these things work. All right. So I'm going to quickly introduce myself to start with. And for most of you that don't know me already, I'm Oforie Anka Kofi, and I abbreviate my name with Oak, which is O-A-K, Oforie Anka Kofi. And what do? I believe in creatives. I've always been somebody that seeks to bring things together, bring people together, or bring things together to make cool things. All right, that's my passion. That's what I think I'm here for. And I discovered like a few years ago that I can also share the things that I know. I developed passion for also teaching. So I'm on the journey of learning that. So we run this platform called Kr8tors, and that's how we channel some of these programs through. So one of the things that I liked about Peter's work is how he pulls this contrast look and make it look like montages. If you've seen some of my works and some of the things I've done personally for my IG and some of the clients work that I've done personally, you see that I like montages. I like to juxtapose real images and just make statements. And he is able to do that with pictures, but subtract, colors from it and grade it in ways that, makes it look the same way, but in a realistic way. And it's interesting. It's interesting. When I saw some of his work, I was like, boom, like I really like his work. And there's a lot that's going on with his compositions and how he's also projecting black African males in most of his work is amazing. So you can, look at his Instagram at great visuals underscore. So Peter, all this amazing work, what's the inspiration? Where do you get these ideas from? How do you?
Okay, cool. So I was basically saying that we go through a lot of negative circumstances from time to time, and as human beings, we need a way of escape.
Okay.
Some people turn to different things. Some people turn to religion. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to different, things that might not even help them in the long run.
Okay.
So I came to the conclusion that art is a form of escape. It's a way of escape because it's you're putting yourself in another person's world. You're putting yourself in a world that doesn't actually exist, but at the same time it exists. So it's like you're coming out of your own world, you're coming out of your own space, and you're entering another space. And that space that you're entering can evoke positive emotions in you during that period of time that you're going through something. Or maybe you just need a message, a positive message that is going to transform your life, a transformational message. So I get my inspiration from the fact that people need a way of escape that is healthy in the long run. You understand? And I also see my work as a means of therapy based on what I just said. It's a visual means of therapy. I try to express myself through the emotional circumstances I've gone through, circumstances that I've gone through, and expressing myself in such a way that it appeals to people emotionally, mentally as well. You understand? So I guess that's mainly where my inspiration comes from.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's really interesting because it looks like it's the same way with most artists that you would speak to, that they just find ways to package these emotions and put it in a meaningful way that people would be able to understand. And what are some of the things that I know that originally you're from Nigeria and now you're living in Ghana. And what's up with that? Why in Ghana? What made you join us? Is it a Jollof? Was it?
Okay, so I think God just altered my desire because I initially wanted to go to England, but I think he had a better plan for me. He definitely had a better plan for me. So he put me here in Ghana. Something led to another, and then I found myself in Ghana. I schooled in Ghana for 4 years, and then at some point in time during the fourth year or during my third year, I developed this immense passion for photography, conceptual photography, telling a story with my work. You understand? So when I got there, I realized that this is why God actually put me here because He wanted to develop a gift He had given me. Maybe if I had gone to England, I would have not developed that gift. Who knows? I don't know what would have gone on. But there's a reason for everything. There's a reason why He ordered me here. There's a reason why, you know, everything fell in place the way it did. So I'm not complaining. Initially when I first got here, like I wasn't so comfortable. But after some time, I became comfortable. You understand? So I just think everything was orchestrated by God, and I'm not complaining. I'm always grateful. I'm forever grateful for how everything panned out.
That's great. So Nigeria Jollof or Ghana Jollof?
Nigeria Jollof. There's no competition. Yeah.
You in Ghana, you still saying Nigerian Jollof.
Yeah. I love Nigerian Jollof. There's no competition about that one.
Yeah. So
But I also
I mean,
appreciate
how is
Ghanaian
the
Jollof though.
yeah, I mean, you here, so I mean, you start with the Ghana Jollof to you go. Maybe by the time you're going back, you have more than just the Ghana Jollof. I mean, the
Yeah.
culture will just hit you.
Well, true,
Talking
true,
about the
true.
culture thing,
But I like
how is the, mhm.
yeah, I'm
You can
listening to
go.
you.
No, no, you're saying something. You
Oh, I
can
wanted
go.
to say I like Ghanaian fufu and light soup. That's my best Ghanaian meal, like fufu and light soup. It's very, very beautiful. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
you can go on.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's coming in, it's sitting in. There is more. You should try the kokonte and all that. But I mean, speaking
sure,
about
sure.
culture and all that, how is
Yeah.
the Ghanaian scene? I mean, media and art scene as compared to Nigeria?
Media.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to media, but I feel like um, the Ghanaian scene is doing well. Like there are a lot of creatives I've encountered a lot, and some of them even inspire me to do better stuff. The same thing with the Nigerian scene as well. We are both doing great. We're both doing great works, and I feel like we're even some of us are even working together to do better work. So there's no, there's no problem over there. Like everything is going smoothly. There's always progression when it comes to creativity in Africa, in Ghana, and in Nigeria. I've just observed that. So it's beautiful. It's very, very inspirational, and it will make you as a creative to sit up and try as much as possible to do your best to create your best. You understand? So yeah.
That's interesting. So, I mean, what are some of the trends that you saw last year that stands
Okay.
out for you?
I won't lie, I saw a lot of wedding photographs. You know,
Okay.
a lot of outdoor wedding, pre-wedding photos, and also the wedding photos itself. Of
Mhm.
course, like I realized that this time they were more creative with the pre-wedding photographs. Usually they will just stand somewhere and there's just a background over there, and they just stand and maybe they are like trying to blow kisses, all those lovey-dovey stuff. But like this
Yeah.
year, it looked more like an Adam and Eve vibe. It was very creative, very like it had that conceptual ingredient in there. Even if of course like it's a wedding photograph, it's like love going on, but it still had that story to it. Like maybe this is how I met her, in the midst of a lot of thorns around the bush, a lot of grass. I don't know, maybe I'm coming from an artistic perspective, but that's how I saw it. Maybe they are around a garden and then there's a tree and then the girl is in front of the tree and the guy is behind. It was very conceptual, very beautiful. I really enjoyed the pre-wedding photographs in 2022. I think another one was the vintage photograph where People are obviously wearing their afros, holding the old TVs, those square ones, those small square ones, and the baggy jeans. It was just really cool. Even the edits, they looks really vintage as well. A lot of grains, maybe mostly black and white as well, and stuff. It was so exquisite. Like
Mhm.
I'm just saying based on the ones I really, really liked. I'm just like
Yeah,
talking
for
about
real.
those ones. Yeah. And then I guess the last one could be water shots. Some people were going to the beach, taking photos at the beach, like, making it conceptual or like artistic, like beach shots, a lot of beach shots, the waves coming, people just standing in the sunsets. It was just really beautiful, honestly. Like people were really creative with stuff. But one thing I realized with these trends is that it's not something that's new. It's something that has
Mhm.
always been there. But it's like somebody would see it and be like, I can do this. I can even try to even be more creative and challenge themselves to even do better. You understand? But it's still the same concept, but in their own way. So it creates a trend of, we've seen this before, this is nice, I prefer this one to this one. But it all started with somebody that did it a long time ago. And then other people started saying, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this because they liked it. And it became viral. You understand? So it has always been there. These trends have always been there and they'll always be there. Like it's always the same thing, but just with different perspectives and with different artists. Like, and it's always beautiful to be honest. Like we can never get tired of them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree so much with you because like I think it just recycle everything in arts and design just recycle itself, but it's
Exactly.
just that like you know how like people don't really want something that is like virtually like new. This is what I've realized. If you bring something which is
Okay.
entirely
True.
new, the onboarding process is very like difficult. I think in my lifetime, a
True.
few people have seen them done that is like Apple being able to onboard people on entirely new ideas. They does it like in ways that myself I'm a bit amazed about. Apart from them, I don't see
Mm.
people do that quite often to onboard people on a whole different concept, whether it's design or product or
Yeah.
whatever. So oftentimes we just
Yeah.
have to recycle what people already know, but put a
Okay.
new touch to it or put something new to it
Yeah.
that makes people like, oh, this thing looks familiar, but there's a twist to it. What's this twist? Like, oh, okay, it sounds familiar. Let me just what's going on here? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what makes um, creatives like. I think at this point, I don't know for people that are more of like more artistic in their nature that wants to make an entirely new statement. I don't frown upon that. You know, sometimes there are certain things which are so deep, it needs to be said in a way that it doesn't have to
Exactly.
make sense anytime now. Like
Exactly.
what Kanye and some other people are doing, it's interesting. People don't get it now, but maybe
Exactly.
they right.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
uh, I think to some point you always have to find a way to bring the familiar and then put a little bit salt on it. So people go like, wow, this thing looks familiar, but it's much salty now. There's much sugar now, or maybe it
Yeah.
smells different now. Yeah. So I agree with you so much.
Yeah. But I think the only problem I have with that, the fact that because of the fact that you think people or the audience at large will not appreciate your art based on it's too innovative, it limits creativity in some artists because some artists can be like, okay, this is how I see it. Yeah, I understand and I appreciate every other artist that is recycling this vintage stuff or that is recycling this conceptual photography. But me myself, I see something that nobody sees. And that's how God created all of us to be unique. That's why our faces are all different. No matter how similar we might look, even twins, it still is a very unique difference between those twins or triplets or whatever. You understand? So if God has intentionally made all our fingerprints different, why can't we be bold and innovative enough to put whatever is in our minds to the world, like create it? Because we're all creators, we all have God living in us. So we can create. Do you understand? We don't have to. I understand that, yeah, in order to make the audience follow page or get a lot of likes. We have to recycle what's been going on. But if we actually want to speak a message that we feel genuinely in our hearts and in deep in our souls, that is so powerful and it can actually transform someone's life, I feel like we need to let go of that mindset of, oh yeah, like I just need to recycle. Like I feel like we need to embrace innovation more and be more creative, allow our creative sides to just dominate us and just do what we can. Of course we can get inspired by people, we can see something and admire it and want to even do it too. Because like you said, Kanye West and some other people, they are doing some things that right now we might not appreciate as an audience, but in the nearest future we'll be like, this thing is actually really, really beautiful. It's so hard, it's so mad. So I just feel like we shouldn't be scared as creatives. We should actually be bold enough to make statements with our work. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I agree so much with you. Like I agree so much. I agree so much to what you're saying because I mean that's what we're here for, because to be able to like express ourselves
Exactly.
and in a meaningful way that and share the gift that we have, because each one of us have like something that we know we can put out that the world will need so much, and it will be
Exactly.
even a sin not to not to, I mean, deliver on that, for real.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But I think that even with people like you know uh, creators that lead most of our culture now, I think one
Mm.
of the things that I've seen them done is being able to have that transition, like put, transition people on new ideas, you know, because if it's just like, oh, this is an entirely new idea and you should just move on from your perspective and like this new concept, it's difficult for audiences to move through that if there's not like a conscious plan to evolve them through time,
True.
so
True. True.
I think that
True.
everything that, let's say, Kanye, all the drama that Kanye is putting out right now, from my
Yeah.
perspective as a trend, what I see is that this guy is trying to put you in some type of shoe, all right? Because I think his message is to put out designs that are ubiquitous, like designs that are so simple and can reach everybody, and remove the idea of luxury and all these, structures, more of like a circular economy kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, everything that he's putting out on social might be fake. The idea is to just get people to believe that, hey, you can be rich one day and poor the other day. So if we're talking about design, let's pay attention to the essentials to bringing things out. So I think he's doing well with how he's taking people through that transition period, and I think that's exactly what Apple or any great brand will do. So I think it's a smart move, and I think that's what artists should look at. If you bring in like an entirely new concept that people don't understand, you have to put them through a transition, like a real, process of changing their minds to get to this new thing. Or else then you have to like reprocess it every day, like go back to the old thing that they know and sprinkle something on it. So I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I I I also like I also saw the trend with
So yeah. 100%.
the
100%. So basically, you're trying to say that the artist should first of all go with the things that the audience is used to, and then when they trust the artist enough,
no. I think that what should happen is you know how like Kanye started putting out all these new designs, like new concept shoes without lace, um, you know, uh,
yeah,
shoes that you can buy for like $1 and it's cool.
yeah,
He's just making fashion as we know it. buy expensive stuff and show it in hip hop videos. He's making that thing looks like, nah, it's not necessary. It's just about the basic essential. The world is dying. We're paying attention to, you know, uh, how you would be able to just protect yourself, just wear something that's comfortable and get you productive. He's trying to reduce design and the whole fashion idea to various like the essentials. And that's not what people have been used to for a very long time. People are used to, oh, let me get you the Gucci so that I can show uh, my next door neighbor that my husband just made $1 million, that kind of thing.
True.
And to be
True.
able to get
True.
people to move from that idea to this idea where, you know, we want people to be able to like take their old clothes back to a place and recycle it. You know, that
Yeah.
kind of oh yeah idea should come back again because people are putting
Yeah.
out so much clothes that are destroying the planet. For
True.
Kanye to be able to lead such a thing, he needs to go through all that drama and
Yeah.
preach to everybody that, hey, I'm poor, I'm just like you. You can actually wear the same clothes the whole year. So that's what I think artists should do. Artists shouldn't be like, oh, I'm polarized. I have this idea. And if you are not part of my idea, stay at your zone and it's me against them. I think they should have more empathy to go down to the other people's level and pick them up from that end and you know bring them to this new idea because these are habits. Like fashion is a habit. People have you know habits to just you know shop things and own things that they don't even need, and they will need to you know they will need a transition for it to happen. So as much as myself, I don't like transitions. Transitions because I have no time for, you know, I want to just get things done. I think when it comes to audiences, we always need to put them through transit, just like making films and things like that. Just put them through some, you know, some process. I think that's
Guess
what should
so.
happen. Yeah.
I guess so. I guess so.
A lot of times, what I see with artists is that our ego gets into the way and we become more polarized and we are like, oh, this is my idea and I'm staying here. And if you are not coming, just stay there. And I think sometimes it doesn't work, you know, especially if you want
Yeah.
to onboard a lot of people, it doesn't work. So sometimes
To
you have
be
to listen.
honest, to be honest, right? From the perspective I see it, I feel like we as artists, I don't believe in having a style. I
Okay.
believe in creating and expressing yourself. Okay, because I will speak for myself, right? Based
Okay.
on maybe a circumstance that I've seen, maybe like a close, because I use my emotions to create. You
Mhm.
understand? Like I don't just create, I use my emotions. When I'm editing the photos, I use my emotions. When I'm taking the pictures, I use my emotions. Like it's more of an emotional thing for me. And then when I put it out there, I put it with my emotions. You understand? Like it's very emotional for me when I'm creating. So
Mhm.
because I absorb people's emotions, and of course I also absorb my own emotions, and that's what allows me to actually create the way I create, be it the way I color grade or the way I add the contrast or the way I add the grains. Like I just genuinely feel that that's how it should be. That particular picture, it should look that way.
Uh, Come in a bit. So I think I agree with most part. I mean, everything you shared. I think the like I think the friction with people is like what they being artists and being designers at the same time. So I think designers are more lean towards the commerce because most people that um, you know buy art apart from for aesthetic reasons like oh okay I want a piece of art for my space that has this emotion that elicits this kind of feeling. Most people that pays for art as we know it now are clients that wants to market products, and sometimes they have so much influence because of what their brand needs and their bottom lines are. So most artists tend to adapt the traditional way of doing things like oh let's just remix what's already there because if you're trying to sell merchandises to people it's I mean it pays if you get clients that would understand that oh this is a whole onboarding process. It's not just we put in an advert out so we should just do an azonto because it's pop, but let's take time to tell stories that actually drive audiences to their brand, like what Apple or Kanye would do with Adidas. All right. But oftentimes you
Yeah,
don't get
yeah,
clients like that. Most clients are like, oh, we have 3 months goal. we want to make sale. Give me something. All right. So then artists are compelled to naturally, you know, put sex
True.
out, the basic stuff, food, like food, sex,
True.
and the obvious ones. So
True.
it's so amazing, and I like the idea that, I mean, the trend that you saw about you seeing more artists putting out more Afrocentric stuff, and also you see more people putting out, even with weddings, people are embracing themselves more and telling their own stories. And I think that's what social media and internet is bringing, because I think that we are still in the revolution of moving from the analog and the traditional media, which is like one way. So that one is like one way. So they just cook a Cinderella story and then they pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. Everybody should
True.
believe in that story and everything should follow that pattern. And that was like one way channel. And I think now people, it's sitting in with people that, okay, hey, now it's not one way channel. It's a back and forth thing. If you put something out that people don't like, they will just comment. If you do something and we don't like it, we can remix it. We can take your content and change it. We can readjust it and say whatever we want with it. So now I think internet as a platform is going to get human beings to be more honest and more expressive. Because, I mean, think about it. If I can find it on Google, why should I sign up to your channel? So you find a lot of artists and people who just copywriting things from one place and put it out there in the other place. But now to be able to build a brand, you need to be able to like story tell your own personality. We need to know you. And besides,
Thank you.
I don't see it for real. All right. So the best that you can do on the internet, show me your real, so that I can
Exactly.
trust you with things. But if
Exactly.
you go pick some template that is already sitting out there and you are trying to publish that template to me, like I've seen it on 10 other accounts already. I've seen that lifestyle, I've seen
Exactly.
that, like see that template all over the place. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I know you're not real. It's a makeup thing. So I think now people should move from the TV idea of like a one-way channel. Let me just pump things to people and I don't care what they
Yeah.
feel about it, you know, and move to like, okay, this thing that I'm putting out, somebody can stop this, conversation and go like, hey, you guys are lying. I think everything you're saying is a lie. That's the beauty of the internet.
True.
So
True.
now we need you to express yourself more. So I think both ways,
Exactly.
I think artists should do that, but also clients that employs and pay for some of our lifestyles should also get to understand some of these things. And I think it's our role as artists to tell this client that, hey, Dayo, like, I want to put my product out in 3 months. Give me something. It's not going to work for you in the long term, because not only me, but you as a brand, because you need people to, like, know you. There's this thing that one influencer I follow on YouTube said. He said that we are going into a world where if I need to buy groundnut, if I'm sitting here and I want to buy some roasted groundnut, I can just say, hey Siri, or hey Alexa, can you get me some groundnut? All right. And Google or Alexa is going to sell that phrase to whoever is ready to buy that, that phrase, just like Google AdWords. All right. So buy me a groundnut. If a Chinese company or somebody in the US or wherever they are will be able to sell you that groundnut, and they'll be able to buy that phrase, forget about it. All right. Like, you will not be able to sell anything. All right. What you need to get to is a place where people will go like, hey, Alexa, can you get me granite from Peter? They should be able to mention your name. And how do you get people to actually mention your name? By getting them to know you for real, to the point where they mention your brand name to call for action. If they have to just look for a photographer, or they have to just look for, something, um, anyone with the money or the budget can buy those AdWords and then outwork you. And
True.
that means the big brands and
Yeah.
the big people
True.
that have the
True.
money
True.
can always, put products out and outwork you.
True. True. I mean, because we're looking at the the cash. So obviously, like, our
Yeah.
minds are not really, But I feel like by God's grace, we'll get to a point where, we have enough cash to tell the clients that these are my principles as a creative, and
Mhm.
I'm not willing to go beyond this boundary. So it's either you accept or you don't accept. And that's fine if you don't accept. There are other people
Mhm.
that obviously create for you, but they are not me. And we are
Yeah,
all
yeah,
different.
it's true. It's
Exactly.
so
So I
true.
feel like there will come a point where, we are so confident in our work and in what we have to offer, regardless of the fact that we are multi-billionaires or we are still getting there. As long as we have that confidence in our work and we have that self-belief that we have something valuable to add, then I guess we can actually have those principles and speak to the clients about them and not be offended, because sometimes us as creatives we get easily offended sometimes. But if we have that self-belief and that, we structured our minds in such a way that we know who we are, we wouldn't be offended if they say no, this is not what I want. Be like, okay, that's fine, like, but this is what I have to offer, these are my principles. So it's either you take it or leave it, of course, in a very polite and very gentle way, you understand,
Yeah.
because I mean, why not? We have to be kind to one another, but kind, but still um very stern about what you're saying, like not trying to, try to please anybody. Say what you mean what you say. You understand? So hopefully, by God's grace, we'll get there as creatives.
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, I think apart from we building our own things that gives us like a staple ground where we can actually go
Mm,
out there and ask for what we want to do. Because I mean, using Ye as an example, he's a guy that has like he has his thing right. So
yeah,
you can't just make him publish anything that he doesn't want to publish. But
exactly.
for instance, like I think technology itself is getting us there. So now we have equipment and cameras and gears that
Yeah,
has so much software. I was telling you earlier that has so much software and AI and things going on in there. Like Photoshop, for instance, has so much AI tools these days that makes work so much easier. That I think
true.
now expressing oneself is the most important thing. So I think social media, the publishing channels, the creative tools that we're using, everything that revolves around our work and what we're doing is pointing to this direction where it's removing the hard task of the way. Gone are the days that you sit and trying to, lasso to an image, around it.
Mm,
Now you can just use AI to just copy, crop that thing and then just get to work.
true.
I think all these things
True.
are coming up so that the human being can remove that hard work from the repetitive task of doing all these things away and really like express yourself in a meaningful way to the world. And I think that's what everything is pointing at. So if you've
True.
seen the trend going, I think that's what it is. You don't need to stick to the old, like TV film type of thinking like, oh, it
Yeah,
has to be it has to be like this. This is the image that they give us in the magazine. So if it's not that standard,
exactly.
it's not that people don't need that. No, now with
Exactly.
internet, we can do
Yeah,
stuff with everybody around the world, right? So we are
true,
not just
true,
living in
true.
Ghana. We are living with 8 billion other human beings on the planet competing for the
Yeah,
same resources. And if somebody in China needs to trust you and do something with you, you need to be real with them. And it's
true.
funny, like we all see through the fake. If somebody's sitting across you and he's saying something which is a lie, you can say, this nigga is lying. All right. Everybody can see it. It's just
True.
that maybe they'll be upfront with you and go like, oh, you lied. So anything about your brand,
Yeah,
your message, I think people, designers and creatives should just move away from that place of trying to come up with the unrealistic. I think we move past that because now looking at what even AI can do in the unrealistic stuff, I think we should leave that to that. Let's not even focus on that. Let's focus more on like bringing the human out because that's what we need now. Now
true,
everything is becoming
true.
so robotized and computerized
Mm,
that I think our main role in this whole thing is reminding people of what it means to be human. And
yeah,
if we get it wrong,
true,
the whole world will get it wrong.
true, true.
So I think that's what we
100%.
should do because as you said earlier, you create from your emotions. Everything that you put out there is coming from a place that is more human, that has emotion, that has a human
Yeah,
touch to it. And I think that's what
Exactly.
the world needs right now. Now you can't compete with how much illustrations DALL-E or any, like robots can spit out, or how many scripts, let's say ChatGTP can produce in a day. So don't even
Yeah.
compete on that volume and that, high touch
Mm.
kind of stuff. Just focus on
True.
human vibe. And
True.
that's what people will need. That will become the demand in this new phase.
True. 100%. Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, but I so much I want people not to just be like, oh, today this is my design theory, and then boom, tomorrow that's my design theory. I think that shift doesn't work
True.
with people very well, and I think that's
Yeah.
why everybody like that we use an example
Yeah.
is going through all these transitions and all these chaos just to make that statement and just to get the idea across. And it's not just a one day thing. Oh, hey, yeah, am I today? And
True.
boom, like tomorrow. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the Afrocentric vibe, I think we almost running out. I just want us to touch on the Afrocentric vintage vibe that you saw. Uh,
Okay.
in connection with I mean everything that we discussed of, I feel like, I don't know if you've seen this. I feel like we are in this break of like Black Renaissance where Black people, as I mean, I grew up as a Ghanaian, as we know as ourselves, are more reserved and not wanting to express ourselves so much. And I remember growing
True.
up, even expressing yourself or trying to stand out is always frowned upon. Just sit, that kind of. I think now everybody is more expressive. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I also see with the Afrocentric vintage vibe that you
Mm.
spoke to. Do you see the same thing? Like, how do you see Africans expressing themselves now?
Um. Huh. Feel like social media is such a powerful tool, first and foremost, because I feel like because of what social media has shown us, different things. Social media, because if you're on social media, I see social media as a country,
Mm-hmm.
and regardless of the original country you are coming from, you are still part of that country, which is social media. And then you see people doing certain things that in their country it's totally normal, but in your own country it's frowned upon. So because you're in close proximity with a different country, in this case that's social media, you
Mm-hmm.
tend to feel like you're among them, you
Sure.
know. So
So
you see people doing a lot of stuff. I'm not judging anybody. Everybody is free. But you see people doing a lot of stuff now in our own part of the world, which is Africa, or maybe Ghana or Nigeria, people doing a lot of stuff that the other people, the Western world are doing, and it's totally cool with them. You see people here doing the same thing, and they don't really care anymore because they are now in close proximity with those people from that country, because now we are part of the country called social media, right? And we are always using our phones these days, so we feel like we are part of something. And if this person can do it over the phone, social media, why can't I also do it? So I feel like it has made us more confident and more bold because we see it almost every day. So now in our minds it's normal. So we don't really care what like a traditional person would say these days. They will look at us, for instance, maybe you're wearing an earring, and then like a typical traditional person is like, men don't wear earrings in this part of the world. But then in the Western world, it's so normal. Like if you're not wearing an earring, they'll be like, why you not wearing an earring? Do you understand? So I feel like because of the close proximity that we have with social media, because we are part of that country now, social media, it is easier for a lot of us to do certain things that on a normal day without social media we wouldn't do. We'll be scared to do. Even if we have a thought about it, we'll be like, Charlie, I know if you do amo. But now that you see it every day, it becomes so normal to you. You're like, why not? Why can't I do it? Charlie, I beg, I they go do this thing, I they go buy this thing. You understand? So I feel like social media has played such a huge role and we are all citizens, whether we like it or not. That's how I see it. I see it as we are citizens of social media. Social media is not a country. You understand? So we are all citizens of social media, and if your brother from your country is doing something, or if a lot of people in your country are doing something, and you like that thing genuinely, you'll be like, why not? I like it, so it's cool. But then in reality, when you're in this main country of yours and you do that thing, people will be like, people from your original country or your original continent will be like, what
I'll
are you
say
doing?
I'll say people from your your physical location, because now we have
True.
all these layers of like I mean worlds that we're living in. Like I mean the metaverse. I think the metaverse is already here. So
Yeah, yeah, true.
yeah,
Exactly. So I mean that's genuinely how I feel about the whole cultural thing. I feel like now we are more bold to do certain things because we are part of social media, the social media continent, or the social media country. Like yeah, I feel like we are more bold to do certain things, and I mean some things are very positive. Other things, of course, are not so positive. That's just
yeah,
life. So yeah, that's
yeah.
that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think talking about the negative and positive thing, I think everyone here, I mean, most of us are creatives here. I think one thing that I'll add to what he just said is that to make it negative or positive depends on us, because we are not just people that move cameras around and click on Photoshop and put things out. We are actually culture creators. All these things that we put out, the music videos that we shoot, the films that we produce, the documentaries that we make, the photographs that we shoot, these are things that actually school the minds of the society to get them to do things. All right. So we have a big role to play in all this, and a lot of responsibility to, to take on all these things. So I think that that's one thing that I would like to add to it. When we're talking about bad and good, I think we have to take on some responsibility to one, advise the people that we work with to be able to adapt, like, good ways of communicating and putting some of these things out, because they are not just images. They're
True.
actually things that change minds and influence people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, based on the things that you've seen
Exactly.
from last year, I would ask like, what do you expect this year? What do you expect to see with 2023? What you working on yourself? What are some of the things that you add into your work, and
What
what
I
are some
expect
of
to
the
see
things
in
that
today.
you're looking forward to see?
Okay. Mm. Um, I think let me start with what I'm looking forward to see, like maybe on social media, when it comes to photography and stuff like that. I think I'm looking forward, and I'm kind of predicting that a lot of more artists will be more confident in their work and be more bold about the statements that they're trying to make, and the insecurity levels in artists are going to reduce, and they are just going to just say, what, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to put it out there, like who knows, somebody might connect to my work. I really, really predict that because I feel like a lot of artists are coming out of their shells. And yeah, it's a really good thing. And for my work, I guess I would also, be much more confident and more bold about what I have to put out there. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I'll just allow God take total control. And I know that the rest is going to be very, very pleasant. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to sneak this one in here. There's this big talk around AI, and every creative is making noise about it. The social media is talking about it. What are some of the AI tools that you use in your work?
I won't lie, I hardly use Photoshop.
Okay. Okay. So I think Pete is having challenges with his internet, but basically we are at the end of the program. So if we'll not be able to get him, I don't want us to go beyond time. So we would end it here. And I mean, it's a series of webinars that we are having every 2 weeks. So the next day to be out, we are going to discuss a different topic. I'll let you guys know about it. If anyone is here that wants to also like be a guest on any of this, you've seen how we go, and you want to be a guest and share your ideas on any of these topics, you can hit me up. I'll send you the list of activities that we have, and you can pick from any of them that you can express yourself on. So, I mean, that's the thing. Thank you for showing up today. We are going to edit this and put it out on our YouTube. So if anyone needs to see this, whether it's a client or anyone that needs to see this to learn from it, you can share it with them. To thank you for showing up, everyone. Thank you so much.